About you, but through Christ I can do all. Stand up tall with my left foot, post up on the wall. Easy if they fall in the streets, life can get hard. Streets used to be a lot different from what man recall. Me a aim for my post like a soccer ball. Feel run the road that don't need a map at all. Babylon them want to hold me with a strap at all. But man a liar, me no Cancer nor Capricorn.
Though they want to see me fall, I'm gonna be okay. Though my back's against the wall, I'm gonna be okay. They fighting me now, I'm gonna be okay. Jehovah eyes are watching me now, I'm gonna be okay.
Welcome to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today I have Mr. Knia Singh. How are you?
I'm all right, brother.
Good to have you on our show. So let the audience know what you do.
Well, I am a human being first and foremost, but I'm a criminal defense lawyer, human rights lawyer, advocate for the city of Toronto and beyond, the nation of Canada and the world. And I'm just a regular old person who wants to see good things in this life.
Right. So we got a video we're going to show you real quick, and then we're going to get back into it. Hope in the Six.
So you're watching the news unfold like the rest of us, and you see two black men die at the hands of police officers. And I'm just wondering how you relate that to your own experience.
Unfortunately, it's a sad reality that anytime I go out or any of my friends go out, we have that potential of being abused, assaulted, or killed by the police. We know that it's not as frequent in Toronto or in Canada. However, that's probably due to the population. There's lower amounts of African Canadians than there are African Americans in states. So we see disproportionately that may be why we don't see as much. But it's scary. You feel like a second-class citizen. I was born in Toronto. I love Canada. I feel like there's so much opportunity here. But just as other people have said, when you have interactions like that with people who are supposed to protect you and provide support, you feel like you have no hope. There's no one to turn to. So it's really scary when someone is accosted by police.
Can you tell me about your specific experience with the ride-along program? What happened there? Why were you denied?
Unfortunately, I was denied because I have been targeted and stopped over the years. In 2008, specifically, I remember a time where I was driving young people home that I mentor from a studio session. And unfortunately, they have criminal records. We were stopped in a snowstorm for no reason. I was asked questions, and then they started asking the passengers questions. And I said, hold on, you can't ask them anything. They're not driving. We know our rights. Yet the young men were so scared of the police because of their history of being abused by them living in Ontario housing and other areas that they said, Knia, stop, don't worry, we'll answer their questions. They ended up providing their information, and now when I asked for my ride-along, just like my other colleagues have, which they all got, I was denied because the unit commander said, I associate with people with criminal records.
You know, when you hear about stories like yours and what you experienced, and other men of color who have similar experiences with the police, sort of guilty by association or guilty because of color. What do you think that does to a person, to their psyche, to their sense of well-being, of confidence?
It definitely puts them in a hopeless state, and probably they limit their options. They say, well, I can't go be a policeman, for instance. I can't go be a security guard. I can't travel out in the street in broad daylight because they feel, oh, if the cops see me, they're harass me and stop me. It changes your psyche and it limits your opportunities. And I really want to point out that it's not just African Canadians, because across Canada, it's the Indigenous population that gets targeted by police in the same way. So it's those racial differences. Whenever you have people of the police force, unfortunately, when the majority of them are one demographic, sometimes it plays out into a disadvantage for the others.
Amazing, amazing. I like that video, and the reason I chose to play it is because the subject matter, you know.
Right.
And I just want to pinpoint a few comments that you made that
Okay.
you were talking about.
Yeah.
So one, I want to talk about you mentioned mentoring youth, and they had criminal records. So talk to me about, like, how was you mentoring these youth?
Well, I operated a recording studio for over 20 years in the city of Toronto since '93. And it became a hub of social activity where people from all across the GTA were coming to this one spot.
Right.
Instead of them, you know, drinking a 40 or smoking a blunt, I would give them books on ancient African history and other relevant things, dictionaries, political books, just so that when they spent their time waiting, they were doing something productive.
Right.
That quickly turned into a lot of people just seeking my advice and seeking support, wanting to work with the studio, learn from me. I trained people on how to work Pro Tools, how to do video editing. So it was a natural, organic way of just being a good friend in a sense, or even just a good person by sharing your knowledge. I think mentoring is about, if you have an opportunity, if you have an ability to do something and you see others around you could benefit from that, teach them how to do it, or let them shadow you to see how it's not as complicated as it seems. And that was what I did for 20 years and still do to this day.
Okay, so prior to being a lawyer, you were actually in the studio recording music?
Oh yeah, I set up one of the first hip-hop studios in the city that was open to the public, CMP Studios, Crazy Mental Productions, 1993. I want to shout out Shamari, my partner, who started that with me. And we just were musicians, but we quickly saw a need for other people to get music recorded and produced at an affordable rate. And we did that for over 20 years. And what ended up happening is formed relationships and actually helped alleviate some of the tensions in the city, because people would record and they lived in rival neighborhoods, but they would still record at my studio. So the studio was a common place, and they knew that they could not carry on with beef in the presence of the studio, but they also knew the studio stood for more. It stood for an opportunity for young people to express themselves and a way out to learn business and a way out of whatever circumstance they were in. So it was a really good place for people to resolve conflict and learn and progress.
So I'm gonna ask you this: was Turk ever recorded at your studio? Turk?
My studio's the first studio Turk recorded
Okay,
at.
shout out to Turk, man.
Shout out to
Turk Foundation,
13 years old. My
Okay.
good boy Scam, DJ Scam, has started bringing artists down from the neighborhood like Bleecker, Regent Park to my studio, because Scam had seen so many other studios and probably didn't feel they were trustworthy, but saw that the way we operated was more communal. And so he really brought people down, and then Turk and I formed a good relationship as a mentor.
Right.
You know,
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's powerful. This is good for the world to know, because a lot of time when you think about music, especially hip hop, you know, is always associated with negativity. You know what I'm saying? But you started in hip hop, now you became a lawyer, which is an amazing testimonial, amazing story. Not only that, you were helping people. You know, when I initially introduced this show, I was talking about how I use music as a language. Like, this is what the youth connect with, so I have to use it, regardless if that's me or not. You understand? I used to do music as a young boy. I grew up and got into a different mind space, but these young people love music, so I got to tap into music now, my artistry, because I believe I'm an artist. You know what I mean?
You are
universally.
An good one too.
So I'm going to tap into that, which was like, it was like in my archive, pull back up the hip hop in me to connect. But it's a powerful tool. But what I want to talk about now is guilty by association, because now you're doing something positive, but now you was trying to do the right along according to you trying to be a lawyer.
Yes.
So then now they said because you associate yourself, this is so crazy, with a lot of people that have issues with the law, you know, with records, they stopped you. Talk to me about that.
Well, this was in my last year of law school at Osgood, and shout out Osgood. Osgood gave me an opportunity that no other law school gave, and without Osgood's acceptance of who I am, I wouldn't be a lawyer today. And so I just want to say that off the bat. But we were in a criminal intensive class, and my two professors, Professor now Justice Rondinelli and former Professor DeLuca, now Justice DeLuca, were both my teachers, and they respected the work I was doing in the community because I was active in carding, in combating carding. I was on the media all the time, on the news all the time. For the whole 3 years I was in law school, so this was the final year. So in the criminal intensive, only 20 students are accepted, right? And I was one of them. And we just focus on criminal law. And at the end of the year, we visit jails, we visit the coroner's office, and one of the highlights is you apply to go on a police ride-along. And all the students get to understand what it's like to be as an officer or do an arrest or just see how the police interact. Because as defense lawyers, potential criminal defense lawyers, you need to understand what's happening on the other side.
Makes sense, yeah.
So that was it. It ran through my mind when I applied. I said, the police may not want to approve me. And I was like, well, why wouldn't they? I've never been charged. I've never been arrested. I'm totally clean. I'm a law student. And so I said, okay, I didn't think anything of it after. But then sure enough, on March 1st, 2016, while sitting in the judges' chambers, because I was placed with the judges to do my final semester, I received an email from an officer saying that I was denied the ride-along. And I instantly was in shock, but expecting it at the same time.
Right.
And it was very upsetting. Like, honestly, I don't want to say I was hurt, but I was hurt, right? I was hurt because I've put so much time and effort into doing good my whole life. I've stayed away from trouble. I've discouraged other people from trouble. And at the same time, I'm still being labeled as a threat, when I'm the opposite of a threat. So we contacted the people. I contacted them right away. I said, what's wrong? Why'd you decide this? They said, oh, well, there's a history of stops with the police. And I was like, that's because the police target me because I'm black. And I've never been charged. Those are carding data, which is illegal. He says, well, we've just determined that you're not suitable for the ride-along. So I said, okay. And I told my professors, and they wrote letters saying, can we sit down and talk? This is a really good student. And they were like, no, there's nothing to talk about. And finally, at a high-level meeting with the police service, because I was part of the PACER committee that was actually helping formulate the regulations and ensure that police community interactions were done in a safe, amicable manner. We had a discussion there, and they were bringing up how carding data doesn't affect you going forward or any employment. And I couldn't hold my tongue. I was trying not to bring it up, but I had to put it on the table, and I said, I got to tell you, they were like, Knia, no, that's the next law student that has been stopped this much times won't have that problem. So what ended up having to happen is I had to do a OIPRD complaint, a complaint against the police, and I had to do a human rights tribunal complaint. Those two things have gone through. The OIPRD was resolved. We mediated, met with the officer, we spoke it out, and came to an understanding. And there's behavior that is programmed, and there's behavior that's malicious. And I don't know if either was that way. But anyways, we moved forward. But the human rights tribunal is still going on.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing. We're going to go into a youth testimonial, and then we'll get back after these few messages. Hope in the 6. Stay tuned. Knia Singh.
Eddie Martinez.
I want to make it, like, by 2020, I want to be in Dubai working. Because Dubai have an expo in the year 2020. Like a whole expo. So if I could get in a job in Dubai by the year 2020, I'm good. Yeah, just plead guilty for everything. Like just plead guilty. And they're trying to put it behind me. There's no point in being innocent because there's nothing innocent of what I did. So what I did was bad and good at the same time. Bad, I get caught, went to jail. Good, the people I did it to will never come back and again. But it's not the life I wanted to live. You understand? Like we did certain things we meet certain people that we should not meet in life, and we go down certain roads. But I always say, like, you need to know, like, yourself, like where you see yourself going in 10 years, 20 years from now. Because I always tell my friends, like, we won't be young forever. That's something we must all realize. Because when we live in shelter, when we come in every day, like, all of us will have kids one day. All of us will be big man, big woman eventually. And then we need to know, like, where we see ourselves going. And it's like that's something that we need to learn early in life. Because you don't learn too late when you're 40. You understand? I'm 25, and I won't lie, I have no savings. You understand? Like, that's something, like, I like by next year, I'll be 26 next year. I should have a little savings. Sure, it's like not a lot, but I could say I saved something. You understand? And then like that's the goal we should all have. Like like just trying to make our life better. Like sure, some of us come from different walks of life. We will be doing things already, but I always say like the only person that could bring you down is yourself. As long you're upbeat, like you're happy about life, just enjoy it.
My name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Toronto, united we stand, hand in hand, let's go, 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 go. We are Toronto, united we stand, hand in hand, let's go, 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 go. From dreams to visions, vision to reality. As one moves up, there goes another casualty. There gotta be a way to maintain the equilibrium. Looking to the sky, but from behind, here he comes. The man, the myth, the legend, I call him brethren. Rebuilding hope in the city of Toronto. Running today for a better tomorrow. Where there's life, there's hope, that's what I told you. We nominate this candidate a young soldier. There gotta be a better way somehow. And the city needs change, when do we need it? Now. Poor education leads to incarceration. Poverty and crime goes hand in hand. At the revolving door there stands a man. Some call him good lawyer, but he's more than that. They said the city has fallen, gonna raise it back. We are Toronto, united we stand, hand in hand, let's go, 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 go. We are Toronto, united we stand, hand in hand, let's go, 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 go.
We got to vote and let them know. Come, let's go out and vote.
Our voices matter, our votes matter. Walking around like it ain't no hope. Politician got in office that you don't want. Instead of shaking your head, what you mad for? Gotta get up and get up and get up and vote.
What it is, 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 what it is. What it is, 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 what it is.
Our voices matter, our votes matter. Them say the people of color have no solidarity. 51%, so we are the majority. Red, black, brown, and yellow, my fellow. Man and in hand, let's come up with a plan. Rise up Caribbean and African nation. And every other race, there's no discrimination. Say we not go see change, say we come out and vote. All road boy, better change your road. What you doing for your own community. Now see peace unless there is unity. Public transportation, minimum wage. Mental health, for that we are pray. More we cry, the more them slack. Time for act, cause we not go for that. Running the race down a city hall. United we stand, but divided we fall. We are Toronto, United we stand, hand in hand. Let's go, 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 go. We are Toronto. United we stand, hand in hand. Let's go, 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 go.
We got to vote, and we let them know. Come, let's go, let's go, let's go, out and vote.
Our voices matter, our votes matter.
What it is, 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 what it is. What it is, 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 what it is.
Wow. Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today I have Mr. Knia Singh. You know, that video is powerful.
Oh man, that's all you, man. You did such a great job with that. I can't thank you enough. And the video is powerful. That's a legend for the city.
Yeah,
definitely.
no problem. But collectively is everybody. You see all the different demographics in the video. Like, we are Toronto. That's today's topic of this whole, show today. We are Toronto, to show that like everybody makes up the city. You know, we want to capitalize on the diversity. So give everybody a voice, give everybody opportunity to show themselves, so.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to my legal colleague, Justin Rochester, who actually coined that phrase, "We are Toronto," for the campaign. So big shout out to you, Justin.
All right, shout out to Justin. Yeah, we are Toronto, man. We are Toronto. Like you were denied certain things with the ride along.
Yeah.
But I'm Toronto. Like, that's, what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. We're all trying to do good here in the city. We're born and raised here, but we're treated like we're not.
Right,
and that's the biggest problem, right? That we know we're Toronto,
Right,
but certain people in Toronto don't know that.
So what I want to talk about, though, is particularly in the video, is like you was running for mayor. Like, what was that experience like? Talk to me about it a little bit.
It was a great experience. I gotta be honest. It's humbling now. Every day that I go out, somebody stops me and says, "You ran for mayor. I voted for you." Right? It's humbling, and it's humbling because you never know how many good people there are in a city until you're out talking to everybody. Sure, you get a lot of people. The majority of the people don't want to talk. They don't want to hear about politics. They don't care. But there's a select group of people that care, and they put their all in. And you're an example of a person who puts their all in. But we had a great team of people holding it down for us. 1017 Gallery that was giving us the space. You know what I mean? And so many volunteers. Amanda heading up the social media. So these are people who believe in what they see me believe in.
Right.
And I think as a city, we need to all get behind candidates who actually care about the community.
Right.
There's a difference between a politician who wants just a piece of office so they can have a good salary and be powerful. And there's a difference between someone who really wants to make an honest change.
Right.
And I believe I fall into that category, who wants to make an honest change. I've never ran for office for money. And the experience was really about understanding that the powers that be control things. And I thought that my status as a lawyer, as a young person, as a person of color who was born and raised here would elevate me to a point where they say, well, he's a really good candidate.
Right.
But it seems like the powers that be don't want certain candidates to get exposure, and I felt that's what happened in my campaign.
Right. I have some youth that went out, man, and they're marginalized. And we are Toronto is everybody inclusive, right? So, we went voting. And they are like first-time voters. So I wanted the pictures to pop up. I have some pictures.
We had a Virgin Voters campaign. No one really wanted to go with it, but I think it's ringing and catchy. So,
Virgin voters never voted ever, But that's a crew right there. It's a diversity crew too. Shout out to everybody in that photo.
Yeah.
Two
That's
different
dope.
occasions we went out. But one of the youth had an issue. He was like, he promised to vote, but then his boys, so he had to now juggle that, and which was good. Now he had an opportunity to make a proper decision making. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, I know I promised, but they calling me that week. I said, listen, those guys are gonna be there every day. This is a one-time experience. You never experienced it before. You're a grown man. Be on your grown man thing right now. Like, let's vote. Do something responsible. You know what I'm saying? You want to see change. You can't complain if y'all don't never put out. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go. And then when he voted, he was so happy. I was happy for him.
Okay.
He was like, I voted. I feel good. You know, he was just so empowered. And go ahead.
Yeah, like he used his dollar. Everybody at voting time gets $1 in their pocket. And if you don't spend it by voting time, you lose it. So when he actually spent it, he's relieved and he's like, yeah, I did something. And that's what we all have to do. It makes a difference. Don't let it fool you. Don't let the media make you think that voting doesn't count, because everyone thought that it wouldn't make a difference whether Trump or Hillary got it.
Yes, yes.
They're saying, oh, they're both evil. They're both part of the system.
Right.
But we see the damage Trump is doing, right? And just on a psychological, emotional level, the psyche of the world has changed because you have a leader in power who's saying wrong things.
So before we go to break, I want to talk to you about the guilty by association in the last clip. You know, guilty by association. You were guilty by association. What are your comments or thoughts concerning that?
It's the thing that we've lived with our whole lives. I think being African Canadian descent or being indigenous, you carry the burden of how people view your race or your people. And that's what happened to me. The fact that I was helping young people out 8 years later caught up to me because they're in the car with me and because the police illegally seized information from them. Now I have to answer, and I feel the brunt of that action. You know, so I think that we can never, we should never label people guilty by association. But we should also be aware that you will be labeled guilty by association.
Life,
just because we know what's wrong doesn't mean it's going to stop. And what we have to understand is who you hang around with, who you spend your time with. People are going to view you as one and the same.
Right. There's a phrase that says, "Show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are." You know, so that's why I'm trying to link up with all the lawyers I can. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying. But some lawyers get a bad rap anyway. You know what I'm saying? But lawyers like you, Julia, like y'all are good lawyers. Y'all genuine. You know what I'm saying? So what we want to show is the full spectrum of it. You know what I'm saying? They got criminals that are just out for stuff. You know, they're haunted or just tormented by certain things, and they do certain things. But you have people do crime by like there's circumstance. You know what I'm saying? So like they need money, they don't know where the food's coming from, so they do crime. So what I want to do is show everybody's not the same.
Exactly.
There's good of everything, there's bad of everything. Oh, there's good criminals? Yes, there are good criminals. And that sounds crazy. And I'm not talking about skilled and good criminals. I'm talking about like people that have a good heart, but it's just because of their circumstances, their marginalization, their demographic, where they live, their race, like so many things force them to like, try to survive. You understand what I'm saying? But they're good people. Now lawyers too, like they're good lawyers out there. You know what I'm saying? Some is just, you know, whatever, but there's good of everything, and we need to know that. But guilty by association is a powerful phrase. And though we don't want to follow that, but the reality of it is for the young ones, like if you're hanging around with bad boys, they're going to continue.
And I want a message for these young guys because the beef that your friends get into carries with you. So when someone catches you on road, and if you're with your boy or they see you with your boy and say, oh, your boy's not here, well, this is for you, and you get hurt.
Right. Jay Barr said that when he was on the episode. He said he don't want his friends to get hurt for, you know what I mean? And that's a reality. But we got to go to a break. We'll be back. Hope in the 6th. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez. Today we have defense lawyer Knia Singh.
I hope you don't need my help right now.
This is a good picture right now, like a Kodak moment. But yes, every now and then I put the suit on. You know, this is for those that are incarcerated,
Okay.
and I read their letter. So you know, it's a visual. I want the audience to get a perspective of, you know, those who are locked up, how they think, and, you know, humanize this. This is a
that's
stigma.
important.
This is a stigma.
It
So I'm
is.
trying to
It is.
humanize it and let people see, okay, you know what? We're human. We all make mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know. So at this moment, you know, I'm going to go into a letter from the inmate. Thanks for taking your time and writing me. It was nice to get mail once in a while. I think my lawyer lied. See, there's a bad rep again. Because I pled guilty in June and getting sentenced in September. But some charges did get dropped. They still want 3 to 5 years, and I'm going to ask for 18 months. I haven't been reading or doing programs, but I have been trying to write some songs. If you type Raga Zulu in YouTube, you'll find all of my songs. Most of them are pretty bad, but I'm trying to get better. As for plans when I get out, I have to get a room, get my IDs, and get my driver's license. Other than that, I don't have much of a plan. Right now, I'm focused on making good music. I have a lot of time, so that's how I'll use it. I could really use studio time. That's where you come in. If I dedicate myself, I think I could keep out of trouble. I'm not stressed like I thought I would be. Maybe that will come later. Who knows? I'm just trying to keep calm, meditate. 8 months went by like nothing. Anyways, thank you again for checking for me. I really appreciate it. Tristan. Shout out to Tristan.
Shout out Tristan.
Yeah, man, this is very important, you know, to hear their voice, you know, and see them as human beings, you know what I mean? Because I seen him, I know his troubles, I worked with him, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he come a long way, you know, he's out right now still, so that after the letter, he's out. So he's out,
good.
which is good, you know, but, and he's kind of doing all right. He's not, you know, so a lot of times people, the revolving door, you reoffend, but he's actually on the straight and narrow right now. I just hope that he stays that way, you know?
Okay.
But in that letter, though, is the reality, and it's a certain, we covered it. We talked about music.
Yes.
You know, right now he said, I don't know, not much of a plan. Like, work on on their passion. Because if somebody have a passion, they're going to go out, go with
you
it.
know,
You know, you were going through different neighborhoods. But that neighborhood particular, a lot of people did music. And when I talked to them on the Wonder Way, they were like, yeah, I used to record. And one of that video really touched me is when that guy was like he was hugging you like a baby, like daddy. You know what I'm saying? That was very people of color like trying to do something powerful. Like that's inspirational. That's saying that I could do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even though we talked about the guilty by association, that didn't stop you from rising. You know what I mean? That didn't stop you. Or did you ever take the ride along?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
but it was a very tapered down version. I
But
think
it
they
never
made
stopped
sure
you. Yeah.
it never stopped me, but I don't think I saw what normal
Right,
ride-alongs
right.
would
No,
see. I
no.
think they insulated the whole thing to make sure we don't want this guy seeing what happens. Well, anyways, I got the ride-along.
Right.
Great officer took me.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
Shouts out to good officers. We
Yeah.
say it's good of everybody. So we are Toronto. We're trying to work together and make a
I
difference.
say
in the
this
city.
every time. I've met a lot of good officers. I've had a lot of bad interactions as well, but I've met a lot of good officers. So just like we shouldn't be blanketed as one way of behaving, we should. Institution has to do better when it comes to dealing with people
Right.
and the way they treat Indigenous and African
Well,
communities.
hopefully I can get one of them out here. You know, particularly Chief Saunders. You know, that's my goal. We'll see what
I
happens.
can put in a word.
Let's
yeah.
Let's see what happens. Make it happen. You
Yeah.
some lawyer skills. Come on, put it in. Yeah, because we need to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I have experience too that I could really talk about community police and how it will benefit and how we could change.
Because you did work.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Short-lived, but I have the experience. You know,
Okay.
I've been to the academy, all of that stuff. So it's real. You know what I'm saying? So there's good of everybody. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm just using a different platform because I could speak more volumes, a bigger volume to the audience, right? To make a difference. Now I could really make a difference. Under that past job skill or whatever, as an officer or whatever, couldn't make much of a difference. You're apprehending people, right?
Yeah.
So now it's about communicating, going into communities. So I'm out there, like I'm free. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
now I can just do things. And shouts out to YSM because they give me definitely a good level of space to just
YSM
work
is
on
doing good.
my skill. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They don't
yeah.
box you in. They give me that opportunity. Shouts out to TCN. I'm going to always say that because this is a platform, right?
Great station.
You know, we're going to have big things coming on for the show. But we're going to go into another video. Check it out. Open the 6.
I'm glad to see so many people turn out for tonight's consultation. First of all, I want to say, I'm going to let you know, I'm not part of the review of the regulations. I've contributed to them just like you have, but I am an independent community member, and I am a lawyer. But most of all, I'm just like you, community activist. I'm here to ensure that our rights as Canadians are safe. I've heard a lot of things since I came here. I wasn't here from the beginning because I was at court, but I heard a lot of things come up here, and I wanted to speak to the audience and answer a few questions and clarify some misconceptions and feelings that are passing around the room. And in order to understand what I'm saying, would take a lot of experience in, first of all, being carded, which I have been, but also negotiating and speaking with the Police Services Board, the Ontario government, and the Ministry of Community Safety. So what I'm going to explain to you, I really want you to pay attention and take it in. Okay? So first of all, these regulations that we have here, they are not a new law. They are not a new introduction to formalized carding. What they are is a synopsis of Supreme Court decisions and the Charter of Rights for Canada, put into a format for police officers specifically to learn from and follow and govern their actions with the community. I know it seems like it's reversed. It seems like these were put to legalize carding. They are not. Under Canadian law, primarily under the Charter, everyone is free from arbitrary detention, Section 9. You have a right not to be arbitrarily detained. If these regulations were to be struck, you still have the right not to be arbitrarily detained. Under Section 8, you have the right not to be unreasonably searched and any property seized. And under Section 7, you have the right to liberty. So the reason why we have these regulations is because, primarily, officers have not been doing their jobs properly when it comes to interactions with specifically the African Canadian community.
That was a powerful video, and the reason I chose to use that one is because this carding thing looks like it's coming back again. So I don't really know the full details of it, but tell me about a little bit about carding and you know, situation with it.
Well, first of all, it never left.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the police continue. I get reports from my clients and people in the community that the police continue to stop them and demand information without proper legal justification. The context of that meeting was the review. Justice Tulloch was doing a review on carding, and there was a room full of people at the JCA, and the community was so confused about what's happening, and they were calling the regulations legitimizing carding, and they were calling different things, and I wanted the community to understand really what's taking place, because understanding the truth is very important to know what you need to ask for. So that's the next phase. But the Ford government has said quite a few times that they want to take the cuffs off of officers when they have to do their job. They're alluding to the fact that saying that these regulations limit officers from doing their job, which is totally false. Officers have the powers of arrest if a crime has been committed. They have powers to do search warrants if they suspect something's going on. They have the power to detain if there's investigative detention. So that is a total lie when it's said that officers can't do their jobs. What it does prevent officers is abusing people's rights and abusing a group of young black males standing around maybe having a conversation and it prevents the officer from walking up to them saying, "Let me see your ID."
Right.
And just may so happen one of those kids might be on a curfew or might be on a condition not to associate with so and so.
Right.
That's a separate issue. The first point of thing is, why did you even believe that there was an offense that you had to investigate?
Right.
And why are you demanding information and basically presuming someone's guilty of an offense when you have no evidence of that? So basically, carding is the documentation of people in a non-criminal context.
Right.
A lot of people think, oh, when the cops ask me to search me or ask me for my ID, they have a right, and they just do it. So they're voluntarily cooperating, but they really don't have to. Police officers, under the regulations, are supposed to notify you and say, this is a voluntary interaction. We're not, you have a choice to say yes or no. But they don't tell people that because that takes away their advantage. So really what they're trying to do is hold on to their advantage, but it also keeps the jails full. I can tell you. There were complaints when I was fighting carding from people in the legal profession saying, oh, well, Mr. Singh is basically going to reduce the amount of clients we have because he's stopping carding, knowing that with less carding, there's less subsequent minor offenses.
Right.
So it's a huge problem. Just know your rights. If anybody ever stops you, just ask, am I being detained?
Right.
Once you ask that question, if the officer says, yes, you're being detained, then you're entitled to all your charter rights, which means you have to be informed why you're being what you're being stopped for. You have to be informed that you have a right to talk to a lawyer. And you have to be given that opportunity to talk to a lawyer. So that's the key phrase. Am I being detained? If it's yes, okay, you get your charter rights. If it's no, then you have a right to walk away. Right. So, and always be respectful and polite in interactions with police, because the last thing you want to do is offend an officer and then you're at the brunt. At the end of the day, you need to live to tell your story another day.
Right.
Seek legal help after. If you've been disrespected or if you've been violated, the violation is going to happen, but you call a lawyer right away. You keep notes. You memorize badge numbers. You memorize identification.
Right.
And then you can go to a legal representative and have them assist you to get your remedy.
Right. I was carded once, too, when I used to live on Jane and Truthaway. Shout out to the Truthaway family, you know what I mean? Truthaway, I say Truthaway?
Yeah, we all say Truthaway.
Yeah, but when I was living out there, they carded me, so they profiled me with the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, like, I'm not of certain caliber, like I don't live certain life. I'm a good model citizen type person, right? But I was carded, and I felt disrespected. I felt disrespected, but I toned it down.
But what was the circumstance?
It was I guess I really don't know. I think they just wanted something happened in the neighborhood like a few days ago, and they're doing an investigation. But why see me and ask for my ID? I don't know how that's going to benefit.
Were you walking into your building?
No, I was actually I lived above a store them times, so I actually was just outside in the front of just getting some fresh air. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
just get some fresh air.
My landlord owned the store downstairs. It's like a Jamaican restaurant, so they have food and stuff. So occasionally me and him would talk like out there. So I'm just chilling, and the officer like, "Hey, y'all need your ID?" I'm like, "What?" I kind of was almost street. I almost got street on them, but I changed it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you know what? I got ID, so let me not argue. But I felt violated. You know what I'm saying? So
did you end up showing your ID?
Yeah, I showed my ID. And
so
then,
I've been in a situation like that before, and what I say is, you know what, officer? Yeah, I do have ID, and I can share it with you, but I feel like you're violating my rights, and I prefer not to.
And that's why we have to know our rights, because you're a lawyer, you have the skill to know these things, but as a regular civilian, you don't know really too much. That's why we want you on the show to tell us about carding and these things. We have different lawyers, different people that mental health, different workers and different people from this community to tell us the rights. So we could this show is to inform also. Yeah. As a platform. You know, but we got to go to a break. Hoping the 6, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, today with Knia Singh. You know, this is a very good show. I feel good. I'm glad to have you. You know,
Pleasure
Bless up,
being
man.
here.
Yeah. At this moment, we're gonna go into a segment called Bars for Bars. What we do is we have the youth on the street. Is they shouting out those that's incarcerated.
Okay.
You know, we do have a newsletter that I read every now and then. It's called Cell Count. So it's from the inmates, and we read it on the show, like their voice from the inside outside, and now from the outside inside. So bars, rap bars, your studio man. So you know what bars is. For bars, free up the men them. So over to you, Jason Fresh. Bars for Bars. Hope
What's going on, everybody? This is Jason Fresh, part of the Hope team, and today we got Bars for Bars.
I'm finding youth that have never seen compassionate living, struggling for funds deep, crevices and negative roadblocks that don't stop. So I salute anyone who's trying to keep the hope propped up instead of foes shot up, because it won't stop unless there be an intervention, a relief from the inattention, a belief that giving is resplendent and taking is just basic, because we searching for greatness while they playing with balls like LeBron on the Lakers. I'm armed with the calmness that chases these demons and replaces any weakness with the recently awakened. Big up Eddie and Jason, those my people were the dying thief. Every day a person in trouble, but they be trying to reach out, get the speech out, hoping it's 6, it's Theo 3, and I'll be out. Peace.
Shout out to Steel. You know that,
Theo
man?
3, that's my boy, man. Theo
See
3
that?
is
Small-
one of the
small
legendary
city.
lyricists in the city. Shout out you, Theo.
Yeah, he's dope, man. That's what it's about, man. Just, you know, sharing the love, man. It's all about love. We are Toronto. Everybody's inclusive, like no man left behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it's about, man. But I heard that you was like a dancer back in the day and stuff like that, even before the studio thing.
Before the studio, yeah, I used to choreograph, and we had a dance group. I started out in talent shows, and then we actually ended up touring Asia in Indonesia and stuff. But we did some, you know, television show stuff. It was good. It was a good experience.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I guess you're a well-rounded man.
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome, man. And people probably like from a dancer, you know, just shaking it up and all that to like legal fighting. You know, what I mean, that's
I want to
so
shout
amazing.
out DRK, Act 1 and Act 2, and rest in peace to Frankie. Those guys were my idols because those were Maestro's dancers.
Okay.
So our crew, we used to show up to the events and shows, but they'd be dancing. They're always headlining.
Right.
We'd be underneath them, but yeah, DRK, shout out D.
All right, well, I'm gonna show a clip, and I hope let's see if the audience can pick you out, and you know which dancer is Knia Singh.
Yeah,
so let's go to
do
that clip and see what happens. Pop.
I didn't see anything. I don't know.
The one with the kid and play hairstyle, man.
No, Big Daddy Kane, cameo, high top. That's it, man. Highest in the city.
That was bigger than Kane's, though. That was bigger than Kane's, you know. But you had the purple. You had the purple on, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's me.
That's cool, man.
That's the archives,
you
right?
You still got it though?
Yeah, I got it. Come out to one of my law parties or birthday parties. After the night's getting old, you see me get on the dance floor. I still spin too.
You still spin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do something real new, right? I want, you know, what I want to ask you about is the future of this campaign. What you didn't win that round. Are you deciding, or will you run again?
I will always run again. I will, because I will be an advocate for the people, right? But there's always easier to be an advocate with resources, right? So right now I do with the people around me, but if I were elected by the people, then at least I can do more for the people. So I'll always put my name forward. People have been asking me about the mayoral race. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm pretty more leaning to yes.
Right.
But then there's also the federal coming up in October, and then the provincial again. So I just want to be able to do the best I can for the community.
So what's in the federal, or what position are in the provincial? What are those positions?
Well, the federal election's coming up, and we heard a lot about Justin Trudeau and Jody Wilson-Raybould. So there's a lot of tension. It's going to be conservative, liberal. You know, that's really what it comes down to, I believe, in this election. But I want to make sure that the area that I live in the city has good representation in Ottawa.
Right.
So I'll just analyze if there's good candidates. I don't have to get involved. But if there's a lack of candidates, then maybe their voice needs to be heard. And then when it comes to provincial, we all know what Doug Ford's doing, and he's not doing very well for poor and disenfranchised people. He doesn't seem to care about the people, even though he says he's for the people. So I would like to make sure that government's not elected again, because it's too destructive.
Right.
But I think what's most important is that people vote. They all think that voting doesn't matter, but voting is probably one of the most critical things you can do as a human being.
Our voice matter. Our votes matter.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, if you run in 2022, you know I'm behind you, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Open the 6th, we are Toronto. What I'm gonna do, I let the audience know that I'm Dying Thief also. I'm Eddie, you know what I mean? That's the suit and tie guy right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also Dying Thief, and that's what I use music to connect with the population I serve. You know, so we're gonna do something sweet. You know, I'm gonna let the people out there, the audience, know that if you vote and you want to vote for somebody that got soul, you know what I'm saying? Soul, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm gonna do something, man. We're gonna show them that you got soul, right?
All right.
Let's get into it. We are Toronto, united we stand, hand to hand. Let's go, 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 go. We are Toronto, united we stand, hand to hand. Let's go, 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 go. From dreams to visions, visions to reality. One moves up, there goes another casualty. They gotta be a way to maintain the equilibrium. Looking to the sky, but from behind, here he comes. The man, the myth, the legend, I call him Bredgen. Rebuilding hope in the city of Toronto. Running today for a better tomorrow. Where there's life, there's hope, that's what I told ya. We nominate this candidate a young soldier. They gotta be a better way somehow. And the city needs change, when do we need it?
Now.
More education leads to incarceration. Poverty and crime goes hand in hand. At the revolving door, there goes the man. They call him good lawyer, but he's more than that. The city has fallen, gonna raise it back. Cause we are Toronto, united we stand, hand to hand. Let's go, 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 go.
Oh, I recorded this, by the way. I engineered this track.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Big
sir.
shout out to Tommy Spitz on the boards, his studio.
And Pronto and Jason Fresh, you know what I'm saying? Hope in the 6th. Thank you for watching. You know why? We gotta vote, y'all. Stay tuned. Hope in the 6th. God bless y'all. Thank you for coming, man.
No problem, bro. Thank you.
Hope in the 6th.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm gonna be okay. I will fear no evil, that will my rod and my staff. I'm gonna be okay. Thou preparest a table before me in front of my enemies. I'm gonna be okay. Thou anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. All on my shoulder, I'm a soldier, thought I told you. But with Jehovah, so nobody can test.